Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Right now, I have entered the most massive short you can ever think of. Yes, I did enter a massive short. Let me show you why. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm your host Jitsuko Toshiro, bringing you all of the daily cryptocurrency updates. Today's video is going to be a daily update video on all of the cryptocurrencies that we love to talk about. Before we get started, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am at 145 subscribers. We have a big goal of getting to $1,000 in USDT. The giveaway details are here in the pinned video. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Right now, I have entered the most massive short you can ever think of. Yes, I did enter a massive short. Let me show you why. So right now we're on the daily outlook, but let's go ahead and switch to the weekly. I want to show you a few indicators that are very important here on Bitcoin. Right now I'm going to turn on some of my indicators that are specific to my needs. Right now I opened up the EMA 50 and 200 and my alpha high time frame suite. So one of the things I want to point out is this death cross. Right now it's being really respected. If we have another weekly close below this death cross, I am going to expect a continuation of the downtrend. Number two, we have an 8 on the TD sequential. This means that the trend is getting weaker, and that means that we will probably see some downside. Now, the downside targets are very interesting. We have one here at 21,000. We have another one here at 18,000. Then we have the support here at 15,000. So these are all my downside targets, and I'm going to take profits all along the way. We have a massive trade incoming. I'll show you guys the details in another video of my trade, but I did enter a short, a low leverage short, and a very high volume amount of currency, relatively speaking, for myself. Another thing I want to show you guys is the CME futures gaps that are at play here on the weekly time frame. Number one is going to be this $20,000 gap that I think we are going to touch, and then this $30,000 gap that we may touch. Now, I think we're more inclined to come down below and retest these levels here at this $20,000 gap before we head higher. So that's another thing to keep in mind on the weekly time frame. And if we dissect it even more, we have another downside target here all the way at $9,000. This is going to be another gap that I have on my radar. So these are the targets for Bitcoin right now. We're at a very interesting spot, and I think we're at crossroads. Now let's look at another thing on the daily time frame. One more indicator that's going to tell me that we are headed lower. This is our divergence, and it's massive. Let me show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. We have this downward sloping RSI. We have this upward sloping price action. This is a momentum shift. This is telling us, hey, we're going to have a trend reversal. It's going to happen soon. You just got to wait. And I think now we have confirmation. And if this week closes red, we are headed lower. It's just a matter of time. Next up, we have Ethereum. Let's take a look at Ethereum. I haven't moved anything really. I'm showing you guys similarities in price action that we've had in the past, where we had an ascending channel, pretty much making a giant M pattern, and then we broke down to the lows. I think that we are having the same situation here, where we have this ascending channel moving up, a little fake out to grab some longs, but then we continue this upward sloping trend. It's only a matter of time before it breaks and retests some supports and heads lower or higher. But I do think that these upward sloping channels will retest some lows, and these are the lows I have in mind, this $1,300 level. And then also to keep on the radar is the June lows. We haven't taken out the June lows yet. Very interesting time in Ethereum's price action. It's just a matter of time before we retest some lows, before we decide to head higher or head lower. Let's take a look at BNB. I mentioned that there is this huge descending resistance and support here, and I think that we finally had confirmation on the daily time frame where we are going to head lower. This is a massive area of resistance. If you guys want to short anything, it's here. We have a bunch of bearish divergences printing on the daily time frame, and it's just looking like a matter of time before we head lower and at least retest these levels of $218 and then possibly even $185. I do like the short setup here on this descending triangle. It's just a matter of time for it to play out. I understand that it might be harder to trade some alts just because the percentages are larger than the moves in Bitcoin, so therefore you have a higher chance of getting liquidated. But in general, these things, if you go low leverage on them, they will play out massively. And I think that the massive move to the downside is going to be this $40 target. Don't get fake faked out, if we do head up higher and retest these levels, the actual confirmation or what I would like to say, the invalidation of this price action structure is this level here, this $400 level. If we break above this level, then this whole structure is invalidated. But until then, I think that we can actually just come here and hang out for a bit before we head lower. That is a very possible scenario. These things take a long time to play out. Look how many days we've had this rounding top. It's taken days for us to actually head lower. So be patient. Last but not least, Solana, the massive head and shoulders short. We're retesting the breakout of the head and shoulders. It's a very interesting time here. We're actually coming down, testing lows, coming up, sweeping highs. It's so difficult to trade these things. It takes patience. It really does. If you want massive moves, you got to be patient. Let things play out. And that's what it is here with Solana. We had a dip. We retested the lows. We came back up, and now we're at $28, $23 again. The possibility of it coming up to 30 is still on the horizon. It's not out of question. And then also one more thing, it's not invalidated until we break out of this $40 high, this $38. So if you're leveraging and you're trying to get into a short here, you can just get swept out. You can get swept out, and then it could head lower, and that's actually the biggest painful thing that can happen. Last but not least, the DXY. I mentioned that we had this rounding bottom. These rounding bottoms tend to break to the upside, and we're seeing the follow through. One thing to keep in mind on the daily time frame is the EMAs. We're hanging out. We had a death cross. We have these EMAs here, and I think what's going to happen is we're going to get some consolidation within this range, and the EMAs are going to cross back over and create a bullish cross, and then we're going to see the lows of Bitcoin and all the commodities there. So be patient. We're actually doing what we need to do with the DXY. If you are shorting everything, then this is what you want to see. We're going to see some resistance here. We're going to see some consolidation here. It's just a matter of time for it to actually break out and move up higher. This death cross is scary, but we did come back to retest it. And you can see now the 50 EMAs curving back up, and the 200 EMA might just come down and cross over. We get that bullish cross, the golden cross, to head higher. So other than that, that's pretty much it for the cryptocurrency daily updates. Remember, I am doing a giveaway for $1,000 in USDT for the first 1,000 subscribers. Details are in the pinned video. If you guys like this content, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate your time. Good luck trading, and have a good one. Thank you.